Hit it, hit it.
Boom Z, a conversation between generations. With a changing world today, it's become exceedingly important that there be a relationship between all generations. We live in an ever-changing world, and it will take the strengths of all generations to make a positive impact on our society.
And good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Boom Z Podcast. My name, Slammin' Sammy Hamlin.
And I'm Nina Jabril, and this is the conversation between generations. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel and share our videos to your friends or family. And don't forget, if you ever want to be on our show or have any questions you want us to answer on the show, you can contact us at any time at boomzpodcast.com. Today with us, we have a guest, Miss LaTanya Buford. She is a very successful Gen Xer. She is the Director of Data Management, Informatics, and Statistics at PSI Incorporated.
Yes.
What a title.
That's a mouthful.
It really is. So what do you do? What is your company about? And then, what do you do?
Okay, sure. So what PSI is a CRO, and that's a clinical research organization. And so what we do is pharmaceutical companies will contract with us to follow their studies when they start introducing the human testing. And so to give you a general idea of what I do, you know how you hear those commercials and they say this could cause your leg to fall off, your ear to go deaf. I collect that information.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
report that to the FDA so that when a new drug is entered into the market, then they want to be able to say exactly what it could do. Doesn't mean it's going to happen to you, but at some point during the course of that study, it happened to somebody.
Wow. Okay, so that's new information for me because I thought when they list all that, it's going to happen.
No.
But it's just it could happen. It could happen to anybody.
It could happen.
Yeah.
But it happened to someone that was on the study.
Oh, wow.
Okay. So my question is, how, you do some of the hiring there, is that correct?
I do. I am part of the hiring team.
So I'm sure those little Gen Zs come by your desk.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
Tell me what are some of the real challenges you have?
So, I am all for hiring new people to enter into the market just because, we're getting old. So we're going to have to replace us.
Yeah.
And so part of that does involve having new blood come into the career and to be able to get that skill that they need. So part of the challenge with hiring some of the Gen Zs, and I got one, I love them to death because I got one, is that what they are looking for in a career is very different than what my generation and the previous generations were looking for in a career. So when I was looking and I entered into the market, it's okay, I got to be able to make enough money so I can afford my family, pay my rent, pay my utilities, because it's good to have lights.
Prefer it, actually.
And be able to grow with the company. So what I'm experiencing a lot of times with Gen Zs is that they want the whole, I gotta be able to love what I'm doing.
Me. That is a me thing.
I gotta love it. What do you mean I gotta be here at 7? Because we start at 7.
So how do you win them over? Or do you? Or do you give in?
It's a combination. I will say that. It's a combination.
Okay.
We do have a core hours, and I explained that to them. We have core hours. We just got to be here because we work for someone else.
Right.
And so we have to be available. And so what we do is we'll set core hours, and I'll say, well, you can work between 7. You got to be here between 7 and 9. That's the compromise. The latest you can start is 9 o'clock.
Okay.
But that means you're going to have to stay later. You can't come in at 7. Come in at 9 and think you're going to leave at 3.
Yeah.
So that's the compromise that we've come up with, is having the core hours and giving them the flexibility to do that.
So that they accept that pretty good.
Yes.
Okay. What about their
Work ethic. I knew that's where he was going to go.
work habits? And
I think habits is probably the best because it's not necessarily an ethic, because the next one is core. Their habits tend to be a little bit more, from my standard, loosey-goosey. Loosey-goosey, because what happens is when it comes to doing what we do, we have federal, state, country guidelines that set the rules that say this is what you have to do
Right.
for a clinical trial. And sometimes with our Gen Xers, they want to play fast and loose with it, and we can't because there are legal ramifications for that. And so having to get them to the point where they can follow the guideline. Now, the flip side of that is I got to tell them everything versus using the information that I give them to apply it to different situations. So that's usually my conversation. It's like, I told you how to do it on this study or during this event. Why am I having this same conversation about it over here? Can you not apply what I've told you over here? Because it works.
So, one big thing that I have, and she knows this. What about the phones?
What? They are sitting right next to them. And we're okay with that to a certain extent as long as it does not interfere with their work. And that's where the challenge comes in. Because if we're on a call, I don't expect you to stop talking to me and look at your phone, which does happen. It's like,
And how do you deal with that?
you know what? That's the challenge because, usually I'll say, can you put your phone away or turn it off until after the meeting? And I think over time, just hearing me say it and reiterating it over and over again, they eventually get to the point that they do it, but I don't think they really turn it off. I think what they do is slide it to the side.
Yeah, that's what they do. Look, over to the side.
You're much nicer than I am. I've had to fire them because they wouldn't, but they were just disrespectful.
Yeah.
Because you tell them, you walk out of the room and come back and they got it again.
Yeah.
You walk out of the room and you come back, you're gone.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, so we can be a little bit more lenient from that perspective because the roles that we have mainly work from home anyway.
Oh, okay.
So we're already trying to navigate that space. And so what I end up having more challenge with is, like, I expect you to be online completing your task. And I don't get that. Because here's the thing, I can tell if you're not there.
Yeah. So what's the turnover ratio?
Is very high. It is very high because of the industry that I am can be very demanding. And that's where we lose the Gen Zs. Because it is a demanding field. And it is a this is like number one, time driven. Like everything we do is timed. And so that's where they struggle because they can't handle that pressure.
And I'm sure in that job, they're making pretty good money.
They are making very good money in some cases.
So
and it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
No.
That's crazy. Look, money gonna make me sit down like.
But it doesn't. It really doesn't.
I get that.
Yeah.
Some of them would rather go to the party than to go to their job.
Well,
Absolutely.
I have a question about the work from home. So do you see like a difference in them working from home and then coming in the office? Like, do they get more done and things of that nature?
We generally have to bring them in the office initially until they can show that they can work from home successfully. So one of the requirements, we've had interns, and we've literally had to say you cannot work from home anymore because we need you in the office so that you can learn, but also accountability.
What are the numbers you have working at one time? I mean, generally.
Generally, I'll have about the most I've ever had is maybe 5, and that required a lot of me because from the perspective of I would have to meet with them every week. Like we would make lists of what it is that they have to do.
And these are all graduates, right?
Yes, all of them are college graduates, and some even secondary graduates. So they've got master's degrees.
So do you see a difference maybe in like millennials and Gen Zs too?
Yes. Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Millennials better?
Yes. But I think
That's quick.
But I think it's only because they've had to have a lot more responsibility. And I think that's where it sits. Because I've had where I can say, okay, we're going to have an interview. And I've had parents ask me, like, what are the questions? Well, that's like, I'm not going to tell you that.
That is crazy. My mama is not that, she's not that type of person to be like, she'll be like, girl, you better look it up yourself or you better just look at everything.
But I
That's
think
crazy.
that's that nurturing, you know,
Yeah.
and we have to say we take some of that responsibility because
Right.
we did that.
We did, not me, but those those ex parents did it. They really did. Now I've had a lot of different age groups over the years, and my millennials were more conscious about their work. They were getting in on the phone thing, but it didn't take a lot for them to understand you don't do it in front of me. You know what I'm saying? But they seem to be a little more focused on really wanting to get the job done. You know, and but the Gen Zs, it's like you say the money doesn't matter. It's they really got to work themselves into being committed to a job.
Yes.
They have to understand that this is how I'm gonna have to feed myself, and I think that's what a lot of them still live at home.
And that's exactly right. I mean, it blew my mind that we had Gen Zs that were making 6 figures and still living at home and still on their parents' insurance.
That's crazy. And that's actually crazy. 6 figures. I'm not sitting at home with my mama.
You really got to blame that on the parents.
Exactly. That's why I say we did that. I feel like to a certain degree they were nurtured to the point of being almost
Enabled.
yes.
Yes. Now, I'm gonna go a little step further, personal. You got one.
I do. I do.
How long did she stay at home?
She stayed at home till she was 19, and then she got put out.
You put her out.
But we were leading up to that. So
Yeah.
because very early on I recognized that dependency that was starting to happen for like, Mom, I need this, I need that, I need this, or I'm having this problem at school. Can you handle this? So finally I recognized that, and I thought, you know what? She's gonna have to start doing this. So what I started doing was, you handle it first. I'm gonna give you your first opportunity to take a stab at it, and if it escalates, then you pull me in. Until then, I'm not. This is all on you.
Well, see, I know a little bit about your family background, so
Yes.
I know you didn't have it easy.
No.
Yes, and I know that you kind of try to let that trickle down, you know. So, but I do totally agree. I think the parents have, and I'm not sure why they do it. That's what I don't understand.
I mean, I don't know because I'm not a parent, but I think it could be part of like they just kind of, because Gen Xers were raised by boomers. And so they're probably like, well, I know how I was raised. I can. So just like how we say the new thing is gentle parenting, and like, Xers didn't gentle parent. So like Gen Zers are trying to be overly nice and like coddle a little more. I think it could just be that kind of thing, like trickle down. Like they were like, oh, well, I can do more. I can provide more. So let me do that. But I do see where it like does mess up the child a little bit.
And boomers, that was a large generation of boomers. I mean, it covered younger boomers than I think did more for their children than I may have. You know what I mean? They tried. The whole point of it was, we don't want them to go through what we went through.
Yeah,
Exactly.
And it trickles down from generation to generation, and it seems like every generation followed, they have more, so they give more leniency. They don't want that. I mean, when I heard time out, that blew my mind.
what's wrong with timeout?
Yeah, I do time out.
You don't? My mama used to put us in timeout so quick. I mean, after the switch, though. I'll give her that. Like, it was after got switched up. I had to go pick her own switch out.
Crap and time out. I do something. I got my butt beat. I mean, and my wife tells me a real funny story about her neighbor who was whipping her child. And she says, I'm going to call social services on you. She said, stop. She brought her the phone, gave her the number. He said, call. He says, and I'll try to come and visit you when I can.
Like, I'll keep in touch. Be sure.
I'll keep in touch because I think that they don't understand that you're really looking out for them.
Yes.
That's the biggest thing, you know.
Yeah.
I just, I mean, we've had several people on the show, and the one question I always ask is, what are we going to do to bridge that gap? How are we going to adjust? How do you see it?
I think one of the things we have to do, it goes back to the gentle parenting and the coddling and all of that. You really got to pull back on that because, and I'll show you where it shows up. When I'm having a conversation because you're not doing something that you should be doing or that I've asked you to do, and I'm telling you, you're not doing this well. And I literally had this person say to me, I've never been told that.
Wow.
So they couldn't take constructive criticism, and that.
Well, I don't even believe there's such thing as constructive criticism. I think it's feedback.
Just feedback.
Yeah.
And they couldn't even take. That's crazy. That not even in school, you didn't get anything.
Well, think about it. You get fifth place trophies.
Yes.
Oh, there you go. Look, he activated Mr. Sam.
You know,
Why?
I can't stand. I mean, fifth place, you get a trophy for showing up.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be fifth place. I mean, you know, they. Little league baseball teams, they get awards day and everybody gets a trophy, you know.
I do get that. Since you've said it, I've been thinking about it, Mr. Sam. Like, I guess there is a pro to exclusivity. So to get a place where not everybody can get, you feel better about yourself. It makes other people work hard. And so I get it now. At first I was just like, everybody does deserve something. But I can see how it can, again, like enable some people.
You know, it's like, I think I hate to say this, I think one of the biggest things with kids growing up today is, and this might sound crazy, they never go outside and play.
Oh, yeah.
That social skill is definitely gone.
They don't go out. They don't, you know, and when they're influenced so much by what's on their phones and their iPads, and they don't know how to interact with other kids that their parents don't introduce them to. You know, we go out on the corner. I knew everybody on my block. You knew them because you hang out with them every day.
Yeah,
you know.
I think that's a new thing too, because I know, like me growing up, we were outside like that. Because when I was a kid, like I couldn't have been an iPad kid; they weren't invented. So that's one thing for me I'm glad about. But these young kids, like they put them in their face and they say, "Hey,
very young age.
Watch Miss Rachel, see what she can tell you."
Yeah. It's I just wonder where it's going. I mean, what do you see as their biggest benefit?
Yeah. Let's say some good things.
Yeah, I mean, there are some good things I feel like with the Gen Zs. Like one, their ability, they speak their mind. Even if they don't know what they're talking about, they don't say it.
Yup. I can agree. That is me.
I mean, so that's one thing. You know what they're thinking, so you're not going to be surprised by it.
Yeah. It's Anne Marie, the guest that we had the other day. I looked at the video, and when she was talking about her, what is it? The
Legos?
Legos. She was talking about her Legos. And I said to her, that's her Legos was my erector set. That's not the same.
That sounds dangerous.
I mean, but she has no idea what an erector set is.
Yeah.
You know, but the point I was making, that was something that I could sit down and build something with. It didn't matter. I mean, I know, but one's made out of metal and one of them's plastic, you know.
Yeah.
So, but you're right. They say things sometimes well, you know.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing I can think of immediately they say, but also for them, you know, they will try just about anything, even if I'm like, you are such an idiot. Okay.
Do you catch any of them crying?
Yeah, they do. They do. They
We've had somebody cry. I don't cry. Like, don't let them think it's me crying. No, shaking.
I didn't say you cried.
But no, the crying in a workplace, that would, I would lose my mind. I'd be like, come on now, you do that in the car or at home on the way here, parking lot,
But
something.
I've seen them pout now.
Yeah, but it's because they've been taught you express yourself. Like I started. Okay, so one of the things, my theory is this: it depends on who you started working on it. When I first started working, I was a teenager. I was working under the boomers, so it was said that work life, home life are two different places. You don't blend them.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
You feeling some kind of way, you go home.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
And they didn't take no crap.
Absolutely.
Didn't take any crap. So.
And so where now we have to mesh it. It's okay. We have some companies I've worked for have wellness rooms where they can go and gather themselves together.
Shut up. That is crazy. Tissues and some like happy pup pieces to read.
And I know that there is more mental illness now than there has ever been.
Yeah.
What do you think that influences that?
But I think some of that leads to it's kind of, for me, it's like a balance between, are you being resilient? Because there's no resilience. There's no like grit. Like, figure this damn thing out.
I can't.
Like, there is no resilience. Tell me everything I need to do. No, figure it out.
Yeah.
And I'd rather you figure it out and fail and then let me correct you than for you to stand there and wait on me to tell you.
Here's the reason I'm laughing. Have you heard that before?
Yes. Okay, and I've gotten a little better. But my biggest thing, I would always ask him before I do anything. Be like, is this how I do that? Is this how I do that?
And I'd look at her like, oh, come on now.
Yes, exactly.
It's been a few minutes, because I've always felt like if you figure it out, it will stick with you so much better than if somebody tells you how to do it.
That is true, guys. All the Gen Zs listening, if you try it yourself before asking, it does help.
Absolutely. And I don't have any problem coming behind you and saying, okay, here's where you messed up.
Exactly.
Like, at least, go at it and try it.
Yeah.
Or if you're coming to me with a problem, because this is a pet peeve of mine, don't bring me a problem and you haven't thought about solutions for it.
Yeah.
Nina,
21
you
year old.
don't know what you're doing for my business.
Oh,
He's gonna play this for every new intern coming in.
I mean, you're saying some of the same things that I say, and when I say it, they look at me crazy. Because I'm a doer. I mean, they'll tell you, if I got a problem, I'm gonna sit there till the end and figure it out somehow or another. So it bothers me when you come and you haven't made any effort to figure simple solutions. So but that comes from, I think, being enabled growing up.
Yeah.
Yes,
No, it
it
definitely does.
It does.
You drop your toy and somebody comes and picks it up for you. My little favorite thing, you can be walking with me. If you fall, I'll tell you to get up. If you hurt, I'll help you.
Right. Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. And my daughter, and I've told her, she's been doing things, jumping. I'm like, listen, I gotta go to work tomorrow. I have to do all of these things. So if you hurt yourself, I'm duct taping you together and you're going to daycare.
That's funny.
You are going to daycare with the duct tape.
With the duct tape. Look, if I got super glue, we use that tape.
Now, you had a favorite phrase. What was that phrase?
Oh, yes, with the my African proverb.
Yes.
Oh, my God. I forgot it already because I'm nervous. So.
It was like, gosh, I read it like a few times. It was like deeds, something with, I don't know. Let's look it up.
Well, I'm going to look it up because it's worth telling everybody what it is.
I love my African proverbs,
I love having my little quotes, like just something that I always refer back to.
Yeah,
I get them tatted.
Yeah, because I have several favorites. Like one of mine is don't test. Only a fool test the depth of the water with both feet.
Ooh, I will be using that. I will be using that one.
Wow.
Only a fool test the water. How deep the water is with both feet. Oh yeah.
Email me that and let me see. The favorite quote. When deed speaks, words are nothing.
Nothing, yeah.
Oh yeah. When deeds speak, words are nothing.
That is definitely one of my favorites because
Talk is
what
cheap.
you're doing, I'm looking at what you're doing. What you say it means nothing to me.
Yep. How we coming on time now, Wolf?
He's been flushed the light.
Hey,
But I have one last question though, because on your bio you sent us, you said you were like the DIY hobby queen. What are some projects that are? Because I love like having hobbies because I garden and then I wish I could build more stuff or
So
do DIY.
I do that. So I like to do home improvement stuff. So I'm painting, I'm doing rearranging bathrooms, doing all that. And I actually do have a garden. I do have a
Really?
garden.
What are you planting? Like flowers or is it like veggies?
Veggies. I kind of have both. I have the front yard is where the flowers are. The backyard is where the veggies are.
Yep.
Because I keep them away from the deer. The deer is eating up everything.
Right. They get it.
well, Tanya, it has been a great conversation here.
Has.
Thank you so very much for all the way from Durham, North Carolina to see us.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Thank you. And again, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We will see you all next Wednesday
And if you want to be on the show, ask us.
at boomzpodcast.com or send us any questions or thoughts that you've had on this conversation we just had.
We love to talk to you.
We love
We
feedback.
have a lot of fun people here, so come on in and join us. Thanks a lot.
It's a TEM joint.